Welcome. I just faded that out. Thank you, Chief Chappaquiddick. All right.
Great expert fade.
Yes, the expert fade. We don't let the song go as long as we do on the Stew Pod. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the StewKast every Wednesday afternoon. Myself, Lou Marconi at Marconi251 on Instagram, at Marconi1973 on X, with my co-host Corey Castle at Corey Castle everywhere. We're going to talk some Raw and SmackDown. But before we get into that, I think there's some AEW news, or one piece of AEW news I want to mention. But before we go into anything, check out the sponsor of the show. It's in the details of the show. Hemisphere Coffee Roasters. Click on the link, order, and they ask you where you heard it from. Say, I sent you or Corey sent you, or we both sent you. so what we did.
Is this StewKast? Hello,
StewKast. What's his name? What's your puppy's name?
This is Bowie.
Bowie?
Yeah.
Is it David Bowie?
Yeah.
Like the singer? Isn't he dead? I think so.
No, he's right here.
No, David Bowie, not your dog.
Yeah, he did die.
Yeah. Is he a husky? Or what is he?
He's a husky Pomeranian mix.
Okay. I can see the husky in him. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, all right. Thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate you. Like, share, comment, subscribe. We love to hear from you. We appreciate all your support and your help. We are live right now, Corey, so we're going to talk some wrestling, or professional wrestling, what I like to call it.
Dude, I did a show. I did a show this weekend in Delaware, and you know the whole oh, you see what kind of reaction you get from the fans, and I'll see what kind of reaction I can get from the fans. That whole yay boo spot that you do in the beginning of matches.
Yeah.
I did it. I did a yay boo spot, and I went to the top rope and I said wrestling. So I figured I'd start this spot by going wrestling. Let's see,
wrestling. I would say this. Well, let's just start out with a piece of AEW news. Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, or whatever he goes by. I heard, I saw the news that he retired, that he's retiring, or he did retire.
Okay, was that? I didn't.
Is that an angle, or is that a shoot? Okay, I saw it on Twitter, and people were saying this. I don't know, but go ahead.
Like the angle that they did to have him lose the title was he went against Jon Moxley, and Jon Moxley choked him out with a plastic bag, which is so not pro wrestling. And then it's
borderline murder.
I mean, but it's a bad influence on kids. Like every kid who might be watching this, who might be watching pro wrestling, to see Daniel Bryan, who was like their favorite yes guy in WWE, is now getting choked out with a bag. It's not the best for the advertisers. I mean, they just signed this big deal with Warner Brothers Discovery. They're going to be on HBO Max now, so they'll have more mainstream penetration with fans, and like their pay-per-view deals might have changed. Like, I thought that was the bit of news you were going to be talking about. But I mean, mix that with like, how often can you continue to do this this act of like overstepping the boundaries, you know?
Yep, I've seen it happen before. I remember on TBS, Dusty Rhodes got fired for the spike to the eye from the Road Warriors, and he ended up becoming the polka dotted American Dream at WWF for a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. So so you're thinking it's more of an angle of anything? I was going to say this about Daniel, or even Jon Moxley too. A lot of wrestlers today, if they would have broke in when I did in '93, and what I mean by breaking in, if you're not familiar with the business, is start training and get into the business, is what I'm saying by that. If WWF wouldn't even have used them as enhancement talent, much less putting them where they put them in the spots they were put in, or WCW. Those were the big two at the time. ECW was starting to ascend, because they weren't big enough.
Right.
I was told that. I mean, I was used as enhancement, and I was told in 2000, but right, my last time when I was there was, we want you to get bigger.
Well, I mean, Moxley's pretty big. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, compared to back then, like, yeah, I'm talking like
right.
when guys that were like, you know what I mean? Like you had Warlord Barbarian, Sid Vicious,
Mhm.
Hogan, you know,
No, but I mean, like in person, like
yeah,
he's. I
these
mean,
are guys that have
he's like
Daniel Bryan's not that
6'2",
big,
6'3", or
and it's
something
not,
like that.
and
Like
don't
he's
and don't
not
take this as a knock, people. I'm just stating a fact.
right.
It's just the way the business was then. It's
Mhm.
different now. Smaller wrestlers like Mysterio would have never even been used.
Right.
Dominic or Ray, it doesn't matter. But go ahead. I didn't mean to digress on that too much. So based on what I'm hearing from you, you think it's an angle and it's just
I don't really know. I mean, I don't have a dog in the fight. Like I don't have an opinion when it comes to if that's the angle or whatever.
Mhm.
But I do definitely think like Brian Danielson has been 1 foot out of the door for uh, a year or so.
I've been hearing that. Yeah. Well, he's got a wife and he's got a family, and when you have those obligations at home, it's a lot harder to go out and on the road and work. And
Right.
I've told you that. I told you that was when it was time for me to stay at home. Was the time for me to be a dad? I was a dad.
Right.
So that's what I did. And
I'm
that's
pretty certain that the announcement was from the beginning of this title reign, the beginning of this win, that whoever beats him for the title is retiring him. I think that. I mean, I could be 100% mistaken on that.
so it could be, yeah. Huh. You might be. I don't know. But anyway, we could switch gears a little bit, talk a little WWE while we just brought that up. I wanted to get that out of the way.
Mhm.
With the Raw and the SmackDown, the thing that I was noticing, when's the date for Crown Jewel? Is that November 2nd?
No, I don't
You're
know.
making me you're making me ask questions. Okay, you gotta make me do my research here. All right.
Yeah.
So what I'm noticing, and just as an overall big pitch, and you can tell me if you see the same thing, with there's Raw and SmackDown cross promoting.
Right.
Like you're seeing like Rhea Ripley on SmackDown, you're seeing Nia Jax on Raw. Just for an example, some things like that, like Cody Rhodes on Raw, and Gunther on SmackDown. You know what I mean? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And I think they're setting up. They're obviously doing a great setup with Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, which I could see that coming for a little while now.
Mhm. Right.
Um, WWE Crown Jewel 2024. Yep, November 2nd, Saturday, November 2nd. So
Well,
I had a feeling that was going to be, yeah. So no, just did my crack research Google search. That's
yeah.
what I did. I had a feeling that was going to be. So yeah, we'll definitely be reviewing that. I tell you what did you think? We talked about that belt that Triple H revealed, that Bad Blood.
I think it's strange that it's as big as it is
Yeah,
because it feels like it's going to take up the entire torso of whoever wins it. It's humongous. Like it's. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it looks very similar to the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. It's.
It does. I noticed that it does. Very similar.
Mhm.
Almost like the old Mid South North American title. I'm dating myself now if I say that old Mid South North American belt. Huh. Interesting. All right, cool. So
Yes.
what did you think of Raw overall when you watched it?
It was cool. The tease on the Tiffany Stratton Tiffany Stratton cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase,
Hmm.
and they really
And Mysterio pulled Liv Morgan out of the ring. Is that
right,
what you're talking
yeah,
about? Yeah,
yeah, that was
yeah,
a an interesting, like, that'll get people like invested into it. I think
yeah,
a couple
yeah,
other stuff was pretty cool. A couple other things were pretty cool from Raw.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Sure. Go ahead.
the
Braun
main thing
Breaker.
that stood out to me on Raw was the main event was bad. How is that the main event of Raw? Like the crowd was dead and nobody cared. Um, was it the it was the tag match of Rhea Ripley and Tiffany Stratton against Liv and somebody else. Who was it?
What was her name again? She had that horrible outfit at Bad Blood that blew that spot. Gonzalez or something, Rodriguez
Oh,
or
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Raquel.
trying to Raquel. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So
And she
yeah,
was
yeah.
also what she was wearing was terrible. On Raw, her attire was bad. Like she's not she I don't dislike her. I do like her. I feel like I've watched her do some good things. But now it seems like everything I'm watching her do, like she's not dressing right, and she's like it seems like the crowds are just bored watching her. It's bizarre.
With her, or you saying? Yeah, yeah. I've seen some grades on these matches. What did you think of Braun Breaker? Braun, I say Breaker, but it's Breaker and Kofi. What did
Hmm.
you think of that match? I kind of liked it.
Uh, I can't remember too much from it. I mean, I remember thinking
Hmm.
that it was okay. I don't think anything stands out as being bad from that match, but
Okay.
I don't remember anything specifically and being like, "Oh, that was good." It's
Well,
it's interesting the heel turn that they're trying to that they're like planting the seeds for Apollo.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, you could see that coming. Which I always like that. I always like when they have a heel turn, but there's a reason for it. Because back in the old days, the NWA or WCW would come out of nowhere, and it's like, well, why? Why did they do that? Where when like the probably one of the biggest ones they did was you could see Hogan and Savage having problems because of Elizabeth,
Mhm.
and they used that, and they told this year-long storyline. It's almost
Right.
like you saw Andre turning heel and challenging Hogan for the belt,
Hmm.
which was the main event. It told a story. There was a build up to it. So I always prefer a build up to a heel turn or a face turn versus out of nowhere.
Abrupt, yeah, and abrupt like
Yeah,
no one
like
saw
well,
it coming.
or people would just join the NWO for no reason or anything.
Right. Well, I mean
Uh,
that was like a weekly thing. They
hmm
they and they would wind up at some point. They just come out and then new people would have on NWO shirts, and they wouldn't even explain that they had joined or anything.
Yeah, this stuff would just happen for no
Right.
reason.
Yeah.
Well, of course, I gotta talk about the number one contenders tag tournament and the Eric's back, which is Ray
Right.
Rowe,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad he's back. I'm glad he's healthy. I haven't talked to him in a few months, but his neck was healing and he's doing well. And I know his wife is expecting their second
And
next month.
it's
So
interesting that they called them the War Raiders again. They got their name back.
yeah,
They called them the
they
Viking
probably
Raiders for a while,
yeah. And
but
then there's
yeah, that was a Vince McMahon thing, and now they're going back to War Raiders. I think the idea was Vince didn't want the name War in someone's name.
hmm, well, Vince is no longer there now, is he?
Right. Right. So do
Which
you
goes
notice
to
like
show.
Raw is War used to be all over
Hmm.
the banners at the arenas, and then they took it away.
Yeah. And last but not least, I was going to ask you, Ms. R Truth. What did you what did you think?
It's
Oh,
it. I feel like I kind of don't care too much about Ms. R Truth. Like it almost seems so like predictable
hmm
that it's like um I don't want to speak for all fans, but I feel like most like casual fans would be like, yeah, well, like give us
mm,
something more interesting than this.
yeah.
What about
Okay.
you?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I mean, I always liked our truth as a performer and as a worker, and
Right,
it's so funny. I knew Mike. I call him Ms. Mike. I met him back in Cleveland years ago. I mean, like when he
right,
was doing real world stuff, and
right.
so it's kind of funny now. The guy's
Okay.
some reality show star now. He's been at the business as long as he has. Hey, for him to stay there and be there as long as he has, that's an accomplishment. So
Hmm.
that's really good stuff. So let's go to SmackDown now. And one thing that happened that I always hate on TV matches is when champions get beaten
Oh
in a non-title
yeah. I
match.
also very much always dislike that.
Yeah, and
It
Nia
cheapens
Jax.
it cheapens the title reign. You know.
Yeah, yeah, it's non-title. As soon as you hear non-title, the crowd groans because they know the champion's probably going to lose.
Right.
Yeah, and that I remember. It kind of takes me back to when I was the Steel City champion, and every show I was putting over this guy in non-title matches, and I'm like, why don't you just have me drop the belt? Well, we don't want you to drop the belt. Well, then don't have me get pinned. What good is it when I get pinned and lose the belt?
Right.
When people want to come see me get beat because I was the heel champion,
Right.
they're seeing me get beat. That's it. And it's like you're
Right.
weakening it. Just
It's,
have me.
it's
Just I'll drop the belt. I'll do whatever you want me to do.
right.
Well, I don't know if it was just dumb. I like here you have a belt. I'm like I don't care. Just let's do what makes money. We could
Right.
have had we plus I had a really good. I had a couple matches before that title reign with Reckless Youth
Mhm.
and Tom Carter, and these matches were off the charts. And he didn't put me in a program with him with that belt over that summer of '98. And I said,
Right.
we lost that was a huge opportunity missed. Because I
Mhm.
don't mind putting over Denny for the belt. We could have main evented me and Reckless Youth for the Steel City Wrestling belt, and we would have blown the roof off the place, and you would have made money. But
Right.
instead, you did this. Whichever reason he had, if he was on here, I'd ask him. It's Norm Connors, but
Mhm.
I finally said, look, just have me drop the damn belt. I don't care. Just
Mhm.
like I
Right.
got so to me, I hate that. I really do hate that when champions lose especially on TV. House
It's
shows,
lazy booking. It's
yeah.
lazy booking, and what's also lazy booking is when they go like,
Mhm.
oh, like there's gonna be schmaz in every match, or like you like it's like it's like you forget how to book champions. Like
Mhm.
I've disliked it very much as a wrestler to have been booked as a champion and then have every
Mhm.
one of my matches
Oh,
end in like a disqualification or something, just so that like I didn't lose or whatever. Like it's like bending over backwards to like keep people interested, and they're not interested.
yeah. Yeah, it's like Vince Russo booking. There's run-ins all the time for
Right.
no reason and all
Yeah.
this stuff. Yeah, it was just
Run-ins,
God.
disqualifications, countouts. There's like, if that's every title match, every match that I have defending this title, I'm not a very good defending champion, and it looks stupid.
Right now, a time limit draw back
Well,
in the
that can
day,
right. That
that
can
that
look better. Right.
that can look a lot better. That's
Mhm.
like how Flair would do it like it was nothing.
Right.
I mean, he would go out there, he'd work an hour, and it's fine. He'd
Mhm.
do it with Barry Windham, Ricky Steamboat, whoever, and it's just like, yeah, he'd do those Broadways all the time. Speaking of probably what I think is one of the best athletes WWE has in their roster, I love watching LA Knight work.
Mhm.
I just love that match that he had with Carmelo Hayes. Is that how you say his last name? Hayes? Is it Hayes?
Yeah. Yeah. I've been
Yeah.
not watching those matches because uh, how many
You
times are they gonna do it? 6, 7 times now.
yeah.
I,
Yeah,
I
I can
just
understand
fast
that.
forward right through it.
Yeah. I like the match he had with Logan Paul or
Right.
Jake. Yeah, yeah, it was Logan Paul that he had because one of them's fighting Tyson. We're going to talk about that.
Mhm. That's also November 2nd, I think.
Is that November? I know it's in November. Let me see. Is that both the same? We're going to talk about both of those.
I, I mean, I
Yeah,
could be wrong. I absolutely could be wrong. Don't all the way quote me.
yeah, yeah. Let me see here. Let me see here. Let me take a look. You gotta be making me work today, Corey. Jeez. Mike Tyson. Let me see. We'll do that. So go ahead, talk to me, man. What else? Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. Okay, November 15th.
Oh shoot. Okay, so it's
November
two
15th.
weeks
It's a
ago. Yeah.
Friday. It's a Friday. Yeah, it's about 13 days after that. So
Right.
definitely we could talk about that here. I do you think that fight will be at work?
No, probably not. I don't. Um, if it is, If it is, it'll disappoint a lot of people, but I doubt they'll do that.
Yeah. Well, I told you who his toughest opponent ever was in the ring. It was Mike Tyson's toughest opponent he's ever faced, I should say. It
Oh
was
yeah.
is the letter S.
Yeah.
So
Don't let him hear you say that. He'll kill you.
yeah. Well, wasn't that we're getting off subject here. I think it was Jamie Foxx at the Apollo was doing a stand up and he started imitating Mike Tyson and the crowd wasn't laughing. They went like they gasped and he's like wondered he didn't understand. And I guess Tyson was there and the crowd knew he was there. It was like, oh, he's gonna kill you. They just like, dude, shut up.
I mean, Mike Tyson has to know what he sounds like. It's not like
Oh yeah, yeah.
it's
He
not
was
like
on he was on one of those roasts. He was on one of those roasts with Comedy Central.
Mhm.
And it was yeah, he knew. He knew. I remember like Seth MacFarlane was like, please don't murder me. There's one when Hogan was on that too. I loved it. It's like, yeah, like keep your shirt on, bitch tits. It was great. So all right, now I'm glad we went from Daniel Bryan to bitch tits. I love it. So so anyway, let's take a moment here to pause for a break. Thank you. All right, we're back. All right, thank you. Word from our sponsors. All right, Hemisphere Coffee Roasters. Check it out. Good coffee. We
Yeah, they get
appreciate each and every one of you.
them banging flavors. Check them out.
Yeah, absolutely. We got 3 more minutes to go, and we'll go ahead and just talk about what you want to see, what you're thinking of. Oh, go ahead. If you got anything to plug, Corey, go right ahead because I'll plug my stuff.
Um, I'll be this Saturday wrestling in York, PA for Valor Wrestling.
Cool.
So check that out. The tickets and information should be on my social medias. Check out at Corey Castle on YouTube, on Spotify, on Twitter, on
Yeah.
Facebook, wherever you find stuff, you'll find me. And if you want to check out tickets and information for any of my upcoming dates that I got going on, it's always cool to meet some fans, to meet some supporters. Come on out and support indie wrestling.
All right. Cool. Awesome. Any shows besides we're doing the Sunday Stew Pot every Sunday on Rumble. It's Corey and I. We do the Sunday Stew Pot. What else do you have going on?
My podcast evolving. New episodes usually come out every Monday. They're a little more sporadic right now since the whole move and all that stuff. But check it on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. Evolving with Corey Castle, and that's
All right. Cool.
CoryKastle as it's spelled here on the screen for anybody who may be watching the video on.
And that is Corey, not Cody. Corey. I never
Yes.
called you Cody. I don't know where you got that from. Because you said Cody Graves, or is where Michael Cole's calling Corey Graves, Cody Graves. I'm like, I never called you Cody. I don't remember doing it. If I did, I might have, but I'll take your word for it. I don't ever remember calling you that. But Corey, all right. So hey, myself, what I have, I have the Sunday Stew Pot with Corey. I have this show. I have the Fanatical Elves, the Burning River Browns talk on Friday nights, and on Monday nights with Johnny Cleveland. I do Stirring the Pot, talking Browns talk and Cleveland sports talk, and Cleveland Browns talk and sports talk. So we appreciate you for joining us. We appreciate all of you. We like, comment, share, subscribe. This is the StewKast podcast, which is on the Combat Zone Network, a subsidiary of the Fans First Sports Network, sponsored by Hemisphere Coffee Roasters. Thank you for joining us. Did you have anything you wanted to say, Corey, before we let them go?
No, I don't have anything more.
All right, great. Hey, we'll talk more next week. We'll be back at 12:35 on Wednesday afternoon. Thank you very much, you people. We appreciate you. Have a great day.